is Shir Quali in Pashas Emor Iyar, Rabbi Gapni.
Right, so turn to Pasha Emor Vayikro, chapter Kof Gimel, Pasuk Aleph. So the pasuk says, "Ve'yadaber Hashem el Moshe leimer, daber l'bnei Yisrael v'amata aleihem, moyadei Hashem asher tikru esom mikroi kodesh, Eilahem moyadoi." So the Eibishter told Moshe to give over to the Yidden the commandment benegeh to Moyadei Hashem. So Moyadei Hashem means literally the dates that the Eibishter fixed for the Jewish people. More particularly, the word Moyadim means the Yomim Tovim. And how do we see that more particularly if we read the pasuk further? Moyadei Hashem asher tikru esom mikroi kodesh, that you will call them, which asher tikru, you as Yidden, you will call them, and they will be called literally holy callings, or callings from the holy. Eilahem moyadoi. So the fact that he says that you will call them, that's indicative we're talking about the Yom Tovim. Because it's well known that Shabbos is a dover which the Gemara calls in Masechta Beitza. Shabbos is Mekadsha V'Kaimo. Shabbos is fixed from the beginning of the creation, and the Kedusha says Shabbos is a fixed thing. Every 7 days is Shabbos. But here the Yom Tovim, they are fixed by Yidden. Yidden fixed the Yom Tovim. That was given into their hands that the Bezdin sees when the new moon appears, and according to the appearance of the new moon, that's the beginning of the Chodesh. Lefiseh, you can count so many days from, that'll be the day when, but if the new moon was seen a day later, then the Yom Tovim will be a day later, v'chulu. And that's one of the reasons why they had to send out all the representatives to the Goyla, to the people in the outer part of Yerushalayim and into the more further distant parts of Eretz Yisrael, that they would be able to know when they're supposed to keep Yom Tov. Obviously, if there was any places where they couldn't reach in time, for example, like on Pesach, you got 2 weeks from the time when you fix Rosh Chodesh. If they couldn't reach a given place in 2 weeks, then that's where they had to keep 2 days misofik, since they didn't know when it's going to be Yom Tov. They therefore had to keep 2 days misofik, and that's the beginning of the whole minhag. Keep the 2 days of the Yom Tov. So we see then that everything was fixed by the Bezdin. All the Yom Tov, including Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah being as it is the first day of the month. Therefore, once they received the Eidim to fix it, then only people in Yerushalayim could know that it was going to be Yom Tov, and even maybe they couldn't be informed under certain circumstances, at least in the early stages, how it was in history. And therefore, in Eretz Yisrael, we keep 2 days Yom Tovim. All of us keep 2 days Rosh Hashanah, because it was impossible to inform the rest of Eretz Yisrael. Because the day that the moon was seen by the Eidim and expressed by the Bezdin, that is Rosh Hashanah, then it was already Rosh Hashanah, because it's the same day. So that means that Tikru Esom, the Yidden are going to call all the Yom Tovim are fixed by the Yidden. They're called Mikroi Kodesh, they're called Hamshochas, or calling out from the level of Kodesh. So that would seem that they're going to deal in the parsha with all the Yomim Tovim. And the next pasuk he says, Sheishish Yomim Teyose Malacha, V'yem Shvi Shabbat Shobosein Mikro Kodesh. And the next pasuk he says, the 6 days you'll do Malacha, and on the 7th day, Shabbat Shobosein, Shabbos of all the Shabbos, Mikro Kodesh, it's also a Mikro Kodesh, Kol Malacha Lo Yisasu. You're not allowed to do any Malacha, Shabbos Hi L'Hashem B'chol Meisvei, Teichem, it's a Shabbos to the Eivishter, wherever you'll be dwelling. So Lefisa come to us that we were starting off with the Moyadim, the Tikru Esom, and Rashi says that the Bezdin has to sometimes even be Mi'aba the Shona in order that Yidden should be all able to reach in time for the Yom Tovim because they're coming from distant places. Maybe they get held up on the way, etc. Is, excuse me, if you find something very interesting outside the window, then you can go out there. Okay? So make your choice. So Rashi says it. We're talking about the Moyadim. And then all of a sudden we begin with Shabbos. And we just said that Shabbos is not one of the Moyadim. Shabbos is fixed. Shabbos is not dependent. And then he starts all over again. Eile Moyadei Hashem Kroi Kodesh Asher Tikru Esom B'Moyadim. That he told us at the beginning that was what he's going to tell us. And then all of a sudden in the middle he tells us about Shabbos. So a very famous Rashi, we're not going to deal with what Rashi says. But why the Shabbos alongside the Yom Tov, what's it got to do? And so it tells us that if you don't keep the Yom Tov, then for sure you're going to kill it, you'll machal Shabbos. But if you keep the Yom Tov, then it's like also as you kept Shabbos. Well, that's a very amazing Rashi demands a lot of attention. It's not our concern at this moment. However, suffice it to say in Pashtus that we see that Shabbos is like the Mokir and the Sheresh of all the Moyadim, all the Yomim Tovim. Because he goes to tell me, he says clearly he's telling me the Yom Tovim, then he tells me Shabbos, and then he says these are the Yom Tovim all over again. From that we see that Shabbos is the Mokir of all the Yom Tovim. And that's how some people learn in Rashi, even though we're not concerned with that at the moment, but suffice it to say that the way you keep Shabbos, or this, is mashpia on the whole of Jewish life, and the whole of even of the Bezdin to function with all the Inyanim, it's all dependent on Kedushas HaShabbos. All the holy things by Yidden, for the Yom Tov, for Yom Kippur, and for Rosh Hashanah, all of them derive their hashpah, and they derive their ability to be Mikroi Kodesh from Shabbat. So I asked the Shailu, why is everything dependent in Shabbos? What's it the Nakuda and the Inyan? Everything is dependent in Shabbos, even the ability of the Bezdin, who are tremendously holy people, and this is the Sanhedrin, Yeshvim, Velishkes Agozis in Yerushalayim, that they, if not Shabbos, then they can't have any ability. It's not going to be, there's no Kedusha, Nimshach to them that would give any power to be Kover, the Moyadim. Everything is dependent B'Kedusha Shabbos. So in order to understand that, we're going to make an interesting jump, and we're going to say we have to understand the Inyan from Lag Boimer. If we understand the Inyan in Mesuyam, in Lag Boimer, then we'll be able to maybe appreciate that Inyan. And that is that we find that according to the Kabbalah B'Yodeinu, Lag Boimer is the Yom HaIlula, the Yom HaYotzeit, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We see at the end of the Zohar Kodesh in the Idra Zutra, which is a famous passage at the end of the Zohar Kodesh, that Rabbi Shimon tells all the people just before the so-called Ishtalkes, he tells all the people that he wants them dafki to be sameach. He wants them to be dafki happy, full of simcha at the moment of his Ishtalkes from the world. And also he wants that they should, every year they should be mekayim is Yotzei B'Simcha Gedela B'Yetzer. And as finishes off with a pasuk which has got to do with the Inyan from Simcha, with Chayim Ado'ela v'Chulu. And Ad K'dei Kach is the insistence of Rabbi Shimon on the Inyan and Simcha when they get to his Yom Vatira, as put down in Shulchan Aruch, Mamish in the Shulchan Aruch of the Beis Yosef, where he talks about the dinim of Sfiras Ha'ima. And he mentions well, not the dinim of the actual Sfira, but the Dorim HaNoyagim B'Yamei Sfira. He brings down there a story. Well, first of all, he says it on Lag B'Yamei Noyagim, Ktach Laharbeis B'Simcha. But that's not so much the Beis Yosef, but the Ramah. The Ramah says that Noyagim Ktach, certain people are Noyag on Lag B'Yamei to be Marbe, because Laharbeis B'Simcha. So at the side there's a very famous, I mean all the things in the Shulchan Aruch are famous. There's a Mefarish called the Atiras Zakenim is his name. Now he's got these little footnotes like he writes at the side of the Shulchan Aruch. Every now and then, it's not a comment, he's not on every piece. Every now and then he's got these comments. And he brings down a mind-boggling story that when the Arizal was in Eretz Yisrael, and he went to Miron with the Talmidim, and he also took his family there. To Miron to be Mesameach in the Simchas Lag B'Yamei, the Simchas Hilula, the Rashbi. And there was one of the Arizal's Talmidim that he was Rabbi Avrom, he calls him Halevi, that he was very, very makpid about all things connected with mourning for the Beis Hamikdash. It was one big thing in his life. He'd taken on himself a big chumrah, that he was going to all the time remind himself of the Churban Beis Hamikdash, and always remember, and always be in availus for the. And it's well known al Pikabola that if you're misabel on the Beis Hamikdash, be'emes, then you're zeiche lirois be'binyana, but all, it's brought down in Sforim. That was his big hiddur. So when he came out to Miron, and they davened Tfilas Arvis, he used to say, every time that he davened Shemoneh Esrei, he used to say the Nachem that we say on Tisha B'Av in the afternoon. To Mincha we say a tefillah called Nachem Hashem Es Aveli Tzion Aveli Yerushalayim. The whole nusach, it's called Nachem. So he used to say Nachem every Shemoneh Esrei. That was a chumrah that he took on himself. I had to shout on a half segment. But since he meant it be'emes, and it wasn't a half segment, it was that he did. He was a holy man. So he said Nachem during the Shemoneh Esrei, Daven Marav, in the Tzion of the Rashbi on Lag B'Yamei. So the Arizal said that afterwards, during the Simcha, the Rashbi came to him, and the Rashbi said to him that you must tell this Rabbi Avram Halevi that he did a very improper thing, that he mentioned the Churban, the Beis Hamikdash on my day of my Simcha, and he said you must warn him that he must never do that again. It's even brought down Chas v'Sholem that he suffered a certain punishment for that. I mean, he should have known v'chatchila not to do it because he was such a learned man. I was like, I'm said that went to Rob. So we see from that there's a tremendous insistence on the Inyan Asimcha on Lag B'Yamei. B'frat b'mokim kever Rashbi, b'frat al yad mekoyim al yad kivre. There should be a Inyan from Simcha miyuchedet. But Ad K'dei Kach that this person made a very serious error in the eyes of the Rashbi in mentioning anything to do with any mourning b'chlal and mourning of the Beis Hamikdash b'miyuchad. Ask yourself the shaila, how can there be such an insistence on Simcha in the day of the passing away of a of a great tzaddik and a great manhig. You saw like the Rashbi and a great manhig, not just bismanoi, but b'chola adoiros mi'az. Yeah, that Rabbi Shimon is one of the great Tanoim, and the main great Makabli Ater from the Rabbi Akiva. He was the Talmudim of Rabbi Akiva, and the Gemara says over there in Masechta Yavonis that it was Rabbi Akiva and 5 people that remained over, including Rashbi, that they were the ones that kept the Torah going. Otherwise, Shema Yishtachach Torah Yisrael, Rachmanin Islam, the Torah could have been forgotten. It was Davki Rabbi Akiva with the Rashbi, with the Talmudim, Rabbi Meir, that they kept the whole Torah going, and Shaloi Tishkachach Yisrael. So come to it, there should be a great mourning on the day that a great tzaddik like that passes away. So you might say, well, where do you bring the shaila from? So if you look up in Shulchan Aruch, in Hilchos Tainis, it's written near the end of Hilchos Tainis, there are certain days that the Klal Yisrael fasts on them, because it was Ira Tzorel, Aviseinu, Ira Tzores, in those particular days, and therefore it's a time. And it brings a mansum that there's a inyan from Mises Tzadikim, if great people passed away, then you should mourn. And it's brought down that on Yom Zayin Ba'odah, there were those there's man Ishtalchus Moshe Rabbeinu, Shenegim Likvoya Tainis, B'Zayin Ba'odah, the people were known to be Koveya Tainis, and it was a well-known thing that on Zayin Ba'odah, you didn't get fast, al derech harogim. Therefore, there's a whole shaila when it's a Shnas Ha'ibur, when it's a leap year, then which day should you fast? Should you fast in order Rishon or in order Sheni? Is a whole big deal in the Poiskim. Benegel is here. Well, for that we see that on the Yotzar, the Moshe Rabbeinu, the Minhag Yisrael brought down in Shulchan Aruch, also did that you should fast. And Kachavu Ba'id Kama Tzadikim Gedolim, that it was a minhag to fast on the day of the Ishtalchus, particularly if they were people that were great manhigim in certain kehilas, and here we see by Rashbi there's pink fakir. Not only that it's not a fast, and not only that it's not a day of mourning and of Yisrael, even from Mariras at the passing of a great tzaddik. No, he said he wants it to be dafki a day of simcha. And the Hidra Zutra finishes off over there by saying that we should boy v'nishmach bihilula derashbi. We should come and be besimcha or this in the hilula derashbi. So that's one. In the Gemara and in the Zohar Kodesh, the word hilula means a chasna. Hilula, Bei Hilula, is the place where chasna is held. And a chuppah and a chasna. It's a kumtais that's not only a day of simcha, but it's compared to the simcha of chasna. If we come to a chasna. And we see that even in the Gemara, there's a Zah Loshen, it's not connected to document Rashbi, but it's, we see that there's an interesting usage in Masechta Eruvin, not far from the end of the Masechta. The Gemara tells that Shmuel, what he was one of the great early Amoraim, there was Rav and Shmuel, they were Chaverim. Shmuel had a Talmud that was called Rav Yehuda, and he used to call him Shinano. Shmuel used to call Rav Yehuda Shinano. So the different Piyurim, why did he call him the word Shinano? So some want to say that Rav Yehuda had a big tooth that stuck out in the front, and the word in Lashon Kodesh for tooth is a shein, and in Aramaic it's Shino, so he used to call him Shinano. That's how some people explain it. And others say that he was so tremendously sharp and brilliant that from Lashon Shinantom Livonach, must make the children know sharply and very well that he called him Shinanov from Lashon Shinantom, that he knew that whenever he had anything to say, that he would be right on the ball. So anyway, Rabbi Yehuda, Shmuel says to Rabbi Yehuda's Talmud, he says to him, Shinanov, listen here, he said, Hi Alma, Hi Alma das Linen Minai. He said, this world that we're going from it, he said, it's like a chasna. And he said, Chatoif ve'achoil, Chatoif u'shasi. So he said, grab eat and grab something to drink. Because in the old days, by the Sudas chasnas, they didn't have nowadays with all sorts of tables, you know, they had like that bar that you got over there in the Big Tent, but you guys are already experienced usage of that, users of that particular convenient. And so that's how they used to have the Suda. They used to have a big table in the middle where people were being Mesameach, and you could go over and take food, and you would take a piece, and you would eat, and come over and make a bracha, or you wash, or your question was, you went pink the Seder, and that was called like the Sudas Chasna. And therefore, he said that the whole world, we're leaving it, is like a Chasna, Chatoif. Grab something to eat, grab something to drink, just like you do at a Chasna. So we see this Indian of using the marshal of a Chasna for this world, particularly some that we're going away from this world, and you should take the opportunity now and grab food, grab drink, grab eat something and grab a drink. Asal to Shaila, why would this world be a Behilulia? Why would we encourage, why would Shmuel encourage the Dafkid to grab? The expression is Chatoif. So in order to understand that, we have to understand that, just very briefly, what is the Maila of Rabbi Shimon? What is the Maila of Rabbi Shimon Beneged to Torah, Lagabi, the whole Gil of Torah and the whole other great teachers that have been in all generations in Torah? And that is, we find that what was so great about Rabbi Shimon regarding his contemporaries, that they were the great Talmudim of Rabbi Akiva. One was a Talmud of Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Meir was also a Talmud V'oid. Mikama Gedolei Tanoim, that they brought the Torah back after all the Talmudim of Rabbi Akiva died. What's also to do with the Sfiras Ha'ima is the difference is that they were all great and unbelievably great, and they were the foundations of the world in Nigla the Torah, in the revelation of the Torah, as it is through the Chumash and the Shisha Sedre Mishnah and all the Braises, all the halachas and all the amazing inyanim of all the Mesiktes Hashas and all the Mesiktes HaMishnayos. They were great and unbelievably great in Nigla the Torah. Rashbi was unusual and different, that he was not only great in Nigla the Torah, but also he was Oisek in Pnimis HaTorah. Well, that's the Inyan of Torah Kabbalah, as it's written in the Zohar when he was in the Mairo, as the one only wrote down, he didn't write it down, but he gave over and he spoke over, and he was Megala all the Seides of the Torah which are brought down in the Zohar HaKodesh. So the Ikka of the Rashbi was that he was Eisip Pnimis HaTorah. Now, others of the Tanoim were also Eisip in Pnimis HaTorah. The truth is, we can't say that they weren't. Rashbi was not only just Oisek, but he was Kilu, the leading figure, and through him went the whole Gilu of the Pnimis HaTorah, and he was Misasik and Megale, the Inyan from Pnimis HaTorah, B'mida Har B'Yosevi Chavero. What's the Inyan of Rabbi Shimon to Davke, to Pnimis HaTorah? So we see that there's an amazing Inyan that the whole greatness and the whole aliyah of the neshama is davke alidei yeridoso lamata. Davke alidei the slabshus, or the entry of the neshama into the guf. And the way the neshama is lamaila, she's on a very high level and very holy level. She knows only of limud atir and a very high madriga, but she doesn't have what's called the emasa shleimas of dveikas in oirein seif baruch hu l'mayla mikola ha'oilamas, because Gan Eden is a madriga in oilamas, and according to Chassidus and Kabbalah, it's in oilam abriya, Gan Eden. So the neshamas have already been yored from Atzilas into Bria, and that's where they find themselves before they come down into the world. However, up there they're called oimdim. They're called standers before Hashem. Ayamideim lo'ad le'ilam, like the malachim are called oimdim, so are the neshamas. Even though there's a difference between the type of learning of the neshamas and the malachim, but they're called literally, they're called standers. They stand in their place. But when they come down lamata into the guf agashmi, then they become mahalchim. The neshamas become, how they call it, progressors, and they are able to progress midarge ledarge, ein areich, from one level to the other, bli so. And that's what we find is the emissary mahalich, a mensch. If you say he's gone or he's walked, that means that he's no longer where he was, but he's gone to another place, even though it may only be a few paces away at that moment. But if he keeps going, he can just go almost unlimitedly within the world of limitation. He can go and go and go, and he's no longer where he was. But if we can imagine a man staying 1 foot here and 1 foot over there, then he hasn't gone completely away from here, even though he's got a shaykhus over there. So that's called a midah. That's called standing, even though you may have moved a little bit, but you're still shy to where you were. Then you didn't go, but you're still what we might call static. It's a static form of Avodas Hashem. All the malachim, lamaila, are called static, even though they have tremendous aliyahs the whole time, but their aliyahs are all better. They're all, how do you call it, just another step higher in a certain madriga that they have, and they'll never go beyond that madriga, even though lamaila, and of course in any madriga there's almost ain't safe possibilities, and that's the malachim. And the neshamas, the way they are prior to their entering the body, that's also the way they are. They're even from going always deeper and higher in Gan Eden, but never incomparably out of their level, or out of the madriga. However, when they come down lamata, and they enter the guf, then there starts off this possibility to reach an unlimited level of aliyahs, and going and progressing b'li seif. And so if we say that the progressing is b'li seif, well, that means that it not only goes from one level to another, but it's always incomparably higher. So that causes a rather sober thought on the part of a mensch. He thinks that I came down here lamata, I'm supposed to be in an aliyahs midaga ladaga ad ein shir. I'm supposed to be going higher and higher the whole time in a way that's ain't a be'erah, even a few hours before, to how I am now. So what do you think when you think about that? Chapter a pachar on the part of a mensch. Is he really fulfilling his yerida lamata, or has he taka had a yerida? One in the time he's come down and he's had a yerida. So the coming down of the neshama into the body is compared to a chasna. And just like we see that when two people join together in the betrothal of marriage, that a new thing happens to them, that's incomparably different to what it was before, because both of them, no matter how perfect they may be, they can't bring Turles into the world. You can't possibly bring another entity into the world, which is called birth. Only when the two of them unite, then it's possible, or then it's possible for them to bring a new entity into the world, and that becomes an inyan which is Ein Sof, because that will have, God willing, that will have children, and that will have children, and that will have children. Starts off a whole new, what you might call, movement, which is unlimited and Ein Sof, which neither of the two of them couldn't start off the way they were alone. Believe the yichud of Zohar on a cave. It has to be Dafka that yichud. So we have to say that some amazing thing takes place when the two limited quantities unite together, that some amazing things takes place. And so that's what's written at the beginning of the Bria. Zohar Nekeva Barom, the Eivshe created a male and female, Vayivorich Oisom Elikim Ve'omar Lehem Pru Ura Vu. So we see that it couldn't have been Pru Ura Vu if not Vayivorich Oisom Elikim. He had to give him a special bracha nice to what he'd already given them by actually creating them and bringing them into being. Had to be a Yevorech Oisom. It's written in the Torah, special inyan. Dave's to bless them. So Chassidus explains that bracha is the Nesina where the Eivshter gives a bracha Ein Sof beyond the limitations of his Shalshalas or elements altogether. When every couple are married, then alidei, that fact that they come together, or there's nimshach ha'oyer Ein Sof, which is completely beyond any limitation, and that's where Yevorech Oisom Elokim u'pru vu. It starts off an endless gilui of the Ein Sof, which just goes ad sof kol adar. Ein shum davar sheyachol latzor it. Im chas v'sholem there'll be a couple that don't have children, then it's written in Chassidus that that's a direct psak in from the Eibishter, what ain't moving along a cloud, madur. Aber mitzad the dover harogil kach is it a follows Lefisa that the goof and the neshama are also the same. The goof, he's just a goof gashmi, and he's very much part of the limitations of the world. The neshama is also limited. The way she is in Gan Eden, she can't go into unlimited inyanim, albeit very high, and very holy inyanim, but not unlimited mamish inyanim. But when the two join together, the guf and the neshama, well, that's like a marriage. It's like a nasuyin. What Adi Day said, they started off a new koyach. So the Eivshter gives a special ha'ora into the guf and the neshama, and then it starts off the ability that the mensch is able to make unlimited additions into the world and to all the worlds, and he's able to create what they call all the Eretz Elyonim unite, like the Alter Rebbe brings in Tanya and all those Hagoyas in Perek Mem and Perek Mem Aleph about the Yehudim Elyonim and how all the Eretz Ein Sof, a Meir and Achilas, and then eventually Meir Lamata, but that's a Gilui from Moshiach, but the whole thing. In other words, the mensch starts doing things incomparably beyond his ability as a limited guf and as a limited neshama, dafka alidei, the union of the guf and the neshama, and that's a comparison to a chasna. That's a comparison to a chasna. However, the Rebbe Rashab is masbin, a famous maimah, based on a maimah from the Rebbe the Tzemach Tzedek, Hovin Hilula the Rashbi, and he's masbin over there that, however, the Eivshter makes that gufa dependent in Torah and mitzvah. In other words, the catalyst which makes that the Ein Sof is meir in those two limited inyanim and gives them the ability to bring about unlimited fruits. Ad sof kol adar, both in the moshel of mother and father and in the moshel of neshama and guf, in the inyan of the Yehudim Elyonim and all those inyanim. Well, that's only alidei Torah and mitzvah. So that's the way the Eivshter wanted it. And if you do it, if a man will sit the whole day and think about all the Yehudim Elyonim of Tefillin and all the amazing Oiros Elyonim which are nimshet al-yidei tefillin, but he didn't actually put on the tefillin, then he wasn't mamshich. He wasn't mamshich anything. Nothing happened. There wasn't any eretz aliyim, and nothing happened. But if he puts on the tefillin, even for a few minutes, with a bracha, then it's possible for him to be mamshich, at least partially. All these amazing things, Lamaila and the Elamas Aliyim and all the Inonim, and to bring about Gil Elokus Mamish Lamata B'Teicha Olam. So we see that it's like dependent in a Tanai in Torah and mitzvahs. The Davka Alidei, with the mensch, the Neshama and the Guf join together, and the Neshama poils on the Guf, and the Guf listens and does listens to the demands of the Neshama. K'mavu in Tanim Perek Lamed, that there's a whole like shutfas between the Neshama and the Nefesh HaChiyunis and the body and the whole riches, and you actually do a mitzvah and you actually carry out the rotzen of the Eibishter. There's nimshel, this unbelievable koyach ha'ein seifi, and the mensch becomes like a center of the whole creation, in which he alters the whole creation and he affects the whole creation. Well, that's the inyan of Yidden. This is one on. That's why all the hatred of the Goyim and everything, because they've always felt that the Yidden are like the center of the creation, and for some mysterious reason it's always been beyond them why that should be and how does it happen. But that's the mamish, b'po mamish, and it's noticeable and it's seen, and it can be seen, and Me'ot Hashem, the finality of it all is coming very, very swiftly and close, taken from Yad Ber, Be'ez Mashiach Tzidkeinu. V'amina starts off this unbelievable power of a Yid with his Neshama to become unlimited and to affect the world in an unlimited way. However, says the Rebbe Rashav over there, there's a difference in that between Torah and mitzvahs haraya al pi nigla Torah, and Torah and mitzvahs haraya al pi pnimis Torah. And he said, how do you get to emsa ein seif, and to emsa gilu of the ein seif? Not just giluim, which are somewhat limited, or which they're behalboshen, they're not so noticeable. He said, that's through the inyan from pnimis Torah. Because we see the pnimis Torah is dafke the unlimited part of Torah. It's the aliyah into an aspect which knows of no limitations, because you talk and you deal higher and higher until you go up until you become involved, as the famous saying as in Lubavitch, handled wegen Atzma saying, say that you even talk about Atzma saying, say for Ka'etzah. So therefore we see that Davki the Inyan from Pnimis HaTorah, well, that lifts a man up into his emes ability to be unlimited and to affect the creation. And that's what the Rebbe demands of us with the Inyan of the Hafotzas HaMayonas Chutza, with the whole Inyan, that if you just, the Rebbe once said on Yud Shvat, that if they have a switch, but they can press that switch, and a hydrogen bomb would blow up, and that would blow up the whole creation, or at least most of it, and bring unfathomable destruction to the whole universe. Is how much more so Kal V'Chomer that a Yid, if he's got an nefesh elokis, if he would just press his inner button, then he can do much, much incomparably more than all that energy that would be let off by the hydrogen bomb. You see that, Levi Lewin? So now you'll have an extra koch going to Lag B'Oim or whatever, going to Miron, even more than the koch which you've been having recently. In other words, you can let off unbelievable energy, and that's precisely demanded from those who learn Pnimis HaTorah. And not just when they sit somewhere and they learn a few Inyanim in Kabbalah, but they learn Pnimis HaTorah, how it was given. Through the Rashbi and through all the, we'll soon come to that in a minute, all the way down through the Arizal to the Baal Shem Tov. And it opened up, as we explained in last week's Shir Kloli, a whole new inyan in the Ein Seif of Torah, until the point that every inyan in Torah becomes a Mesilas Nefesh, it becomes an inyan which is beyond the limitations of the Adam, and there was beyond the limitations of the world, and that is the union of the Hilula, that's the Chasana of the Guf Mitene, the Neshama, and that's Misgale precisely Alidei Pnimius HaToiro. At a fair, the Rebbe brings over there, the Rebbe Rashab brings a famous Indian that in Gan Eden Lamaila, every Shabbos and every Yom Tov, the Neshamas, that he could go up from Gan Eden Tachten in the Gan Eden Eli. The Alter brings it in Tanya Perek Lamed. They go through what's called a Omud. It's like a pillar that they go up from Gan Eden into. So the Rebbe said, what's the meaning of that Omud? Why does that want to just take them up, fly them up into from Gan Eden Tachten into Gan Eden Eli? He says that the Indian for an Omud is that usually an Omud in the outside you don't see what's inside it. It's just a pillar. You'd see, you don't even know anything about your own England over there. I was over in one of those places, I've got the name of it now. I'll remember shortly. And I went into this castle, and there's this hidden thing. There was this big pillar. All of a sudden, I opened a hidden door, and inside the pillar you went in, there was this amazing secret staircase that went right up to the top of the castle. Why isn't it been so houses? No, I thought I there. They live in England, where is it going?
I'll leave it for tourists.
Huh?
I'll leave it for tourists.
You know the story. Anyway, that's the difference between Shmiya and Riyah. Anyway, the main thing is that exactly that's what the Rebbe writes. The Rebbe said the hidden inside a Omud can be all sorts of secret ways to go through the Omud to very, very elevated destinations. So they bring that up into my mind. So he says that you have to be a Omud. You can't just fly everybody up, because only those who devoted themselves to Pnimis HaTorah, they try to live Pnimis HaTorah. That's what he means. They try to bring Pnimis HaTorah into their lives. So they live with like a hidden spot in them. So they go up through this hidden Omud, and it's not revealed to everybody how they make it. They go up through the hidden stairway inside the Omud up into Gan Eden Elyon. They're based on the union of the efforts that they made in their lives in bringing Pnimis HaTorah into the expression in their lives. They state in the moment. Therefore, he says, well, that's the difference between the passing it away, the Rashbi, and maybe other great people. He said that the Rashbi started off this whole process of unbelievable aliyahs and recognition of coming into unlimited gili of the Ein Sof through the union of the Neshama and the Guf, and that's through Torah mitzvahs in general. But he revealed an ultimate aliyah, going up through the secret stairway into absolute unlimited capacity. Mamish Ein Sof, he said that was revealed by the Rashbi Davke. He showed the way, and it's well known that the Alter Rebbe brings Davke in Sha'ar Lag B'Ima, in the Siddur. The Alter Rebbe writes a famous thing, what the Rebbe quotes, that on the day of the passing of a great person, it's like everything he did, it just gathers together in one huge perfection, and all the details all gather together, and it all goes upwards in this amazing illumination, like cloud of everything he did. Meshach Kol Yemei Chayav. So since Rashbi, his whole inner was to show everybody the way to go into this, through this chasana, into this amazing inyan of going l'mayla into Ein Sof. And therefore his day, his passing is the perfection of that inyan. Therefore it's called a hilula. Pink to chasana leads to inyanim of Ein Sof, and that's the emes chasana. The emes chasana to bring inyanim in your avodah and in your life and your significance to the world as representatives of Babich and representatives of the Noiseh Hadegel of Pnimis HaTorah and the Noiseh Hadegel of Moshiach, that Ali Deiseh you can realize the full fruits of what the Rebbe hopes of us and what everybody wants, that should be the ultimate perfection of his life through Pnimis HaTorah Davke. So therefore that's what Shmuel said to Rabbi Yehuda, to Rabbi Yehuda rather. He said to him, Hi Alma, life in this world is like a Pei Hiluli, you got a chaparine. But why did he say Chatuif? Why did he say chaparine? That seems to be L'mayla Me'iseda. Normally you would say do things with a Seder. Why Chatoif Yachel, or Chatoif we should say, yeah, Chaparain. Why did he say that to him? Because the Indian of the Hamshach of this amazing Ein Seif is called Seif of Kolalmin. And in Seif of Kolalmin there are also Madregas. And this is the immediate Indian of the which is completely beyond all the elements. In Mamil, there's no Seder. If you just chop and you jump out of all your limitations, then you get into the Sefer. But if you remain in any way, in any form of limitation, even a limitation of Kedusha, you're not going to make it. And that's what we spoke last week, that all the Inyanim al Pirchidus have Mesiras Nefesh Davke. And Mesiras Nefesh doesn't mean Cholila, jumping off the roof, or throwing yourself Cholila, into the Tohim or Cheswas. Now, Mesiras Nefesh means giving away your limitations. Giving away your limitations and living and devoting yourself to all the Inyanim, Pnimius, and Neshama, and Pnimius and Neshama has no limitations. Yechidale, Yachadoch, she is united with the Yechidah Shol, Oilam with the Eivishter, how he's Yochid. And that's the picture. So we find that it's brought down that the great Talmidim of the Rashbi, they used to call him very special names. They used to call him praiseworthy names. And the Rebbe brings down in a moment, that's a very high madrega, that's a very high, to reach the pnimis of Rashbi, they had to call him these names. And so one of the main names that he's referred to is Shabbos. Rashbi is referred to as Shabbos. And Mamira, that's the Indian that the koyach of all the Inyanim and all the highest Inyanim, the ability to bring about all the most pneumius and atzmistic Inyanim into revelation is Shabbat. Therefore they call Rashbi Shabbat. And if the Hemshchaim base, the Rebbe Rashab is Mavaya that there's a huge makif is Nimshach on Shabbat. That's why everything just turns off on Shabbat. Everything is like swept up into this makif, which is beyond Pnimi altogether. For the two lechems, Davke is supposed to be one alongside the other. Some people put them on top and everything. I'll be Shulchan Aruch, but Lama one alongside the other because it's like a beetle. It's like a beetle of all the madregas in the Maki for Elyon, which is Nimshach b'Shabbos. In Mamera, that's why they called Rashbi Shabbos, that all these unbelievable hilulas and all the unbelievable unions and the Neshama Deguf, it's all in the Sinus Koyach of them is Shabbos. And Mamera, that's why we want you guys to appreciate the Goydel Ha'inyan of Shabbos and the Goydel HaZehiras of Shabbos and keeping Shabbos. And so therefore the Friedrich Rebbe once said, how could you slough away the whole Shabbos? Sloughing away this unbelievable opportunity to bring down everything. Into this, you have to do everything on Shabbos to give with the Manucha. There's a union for resting. You have to Chaparain. Even on Shabbos Kufa, you have to Chaparain. And that's what we started off with. So we see the Pasuk tells us that all the Yom Tovim and everything are all dependent on Shabbos. First of all, it tells us about Shabbos, then it goes back to the Mayadim. And Mamela, those are the Nakuda, and Moshiach is also the union for Shabbos. There's Shabbos, Manucha L'chai Yilomim, as we say on Shabbos Kufa, in benching, Rachmano, Yan Chileno, the Yom Shekul Shabbos, Umanucha L'chai Yilomim. That's the union for Moshiach. Then it will be the Gila, that Makiv, Elian to the Meir on Shabbos, Omen Kaini Hirotzen, the Kain Tiyalon take of Miyad Mamich. Okay, so that's the Shir Klali. Now everybody is going to go and have